So the 2025 schedule is out. Of course, a lot of excitement for Carolina. Brand new chapter. Bill Belichick. New start for Tar Heel football. Big commitment to football by Carolina. And schedule's out. So I'm just going to go through it, and then Adam and I will talk about it.
I'll tell you the final score.
Yeah, okay.
60-0 after each one.
Of course, we talked a little bit about this last week as it was announced. Tar Heels going to have that solo spot on Labor Day, September 1st, Carolina and TCU in Kenan Stadium. Big game.
27-21.
So Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. The eyes of the football-hungry nation will be upon the Heels as the Bill Belichick era begins against the Horned Frogs. Next week, at Charlotte, a random game. This is a 2-for-1, if I'm not mistaken, for the Tar Heels. They have played one of the games in Chapel Hill. Remember, there was another one that got canceled because of COVID. I honestly don't know if that's due to be made up. I would assume it is. But this one's in Charlotte. At one point in time, we thought this was in Bank of America Stadium, but I don't think that's the case. This is in Charlotte's on-campus stadium, which is small. I think it's – I can check. I think it's like – it's less than 20,000 seats. I've been there before. I got a tour of it. It's a lovely facility. It will be quite a sight to see Bill Belichick on the sidelines. Hopefully the Tar Heels coming off a victory over TCU. So that's the next Saturday. So a bit of a quick turnaround. Heels at Charlotte on Saturday after playing on Monday.
38-14.
Let's see what Charlotte Stadium holds, Adam. What do you think?
Is this Richardson Stadium?
Yes.
It's still that?
Jerry Richardson Stadium.
Yep.
Per Google, 15,314.
So sizably smaller than the Smith Center.
Yes.
Wow.
So, an intimate setting.
Tar Heels should do an acoustic set at this one.
For Carolina and Charlotte. Next week, Richmond, the Spiders. That's on Saturday, September 13th.
45-7.
Good program, Richmond. FCS team, a good FCS team, though, one that is regularly competitive at their level. They've played Virginia, I think, a couple of times here in recent past. Good program. Obviously, Carolina would be favored FCS opponent in Chapel Hill, etc., but a good FCS program. Saturday, September 20th. Another game that had been – remember, neither of these games happened. Carolina was due to play Central Florida twice, and neither one of them happened. This one is at UCF. Scott Frost back as the head coach. Remember, he was very successful there. It led him to an undefeated season. Left to go to Nebraska. That made total sense, and everybody thought he was going to kill it there, and it didn't work, and now he's back at UCF. We've seen that. Coaches coming back to their old stops. That is on Saturday, September 20th. Undecided on that one, it seems like.
Tough one, 27-24.
Notice Adam is not telling you who wins or loses these games.
No, I'm not.
Could be either way.
That's going to be a tight one, though.
Then the Tar Heels have their first open date, the first of two, and they come very close together. The first one comes on Saturday, September 27th. Tar Heels are open. So they play their 4 non-conference games and get an open date. Then, Adam, big one. Clemson, ACC opener. Tar Heels and the Tigers, of course, the standard bearer in the league over the last decade. Clemson has undoubtedly been the best team in the ACC year in and year out. They're in the mix every year. They've won a couple national titles. They were in the playoff this past season. as we know, a great program, and they're coming to Chapel Hill Saturday, October 4th.
Big defensive score, 30-27. Those are two huge home games in the first couple. The TCU
in the first
game
5 games, TCU and Clemson.
and Clemson, those are going to be really fun Saturdays/Mondays in Chapel Hill.
Well, then, Adam, this is unusual. The Heels are open again.
Yeah, that's weird.
So, open date, Clemson, open date. What a strange sequence.
Will Bill Belichick like this? If he doesn't, will he just change it?
He'll just schedule a game for that day.
We're going to play the Raiders.
The Patriots practice squad is
Yeah.
going to come down and take on the Tar Heels that day.
A lot of times you have like those scout team games during the open weeks.
Yeah.
Carolina's scout team game is going to be against an NFL practice squad.
Then, Adam, it finally catches up to us, Adam. We've been running away for a year and a half from having to make any type of West Coast trip with football or men's basketball. Somehow the Tar Heels totally avoided it in year 1. No trips to Cal, Stanford, or SMU. Well, that stops on some undetermined day in October at California. Carolina will either play Thursday, October 16th or Friday, October 17th at Cal.
Look, if you're going to inconvenience the fans of your conference by making them travel across the entire nation to see their team play, there's no better way to do it than to not tell them what actual day the game will be on so that they are unable to plan at all to attend said game.
Now, I would assume having that open date ahead of that would be beneficial, or would you rather have it afterwards? I don't know. But the Tar Heels have what a stretch. Open date Clemson, open date at Cal. A unique month for Carolina there.
I wonder if that week is fall break. And if so, I bet you Carolina goes out there really early.
Could be.
It's right in the fall break window. We'll check that and see. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you 24-14.
So long way for Carolina to go at Cal on October 18th. Then the Heels have Virginia in Chapel Hill. That is Saturday, October 25th. Tony Elliott, still the head coach at UVA. They were better this past season. Tar Heels, one of Carolina's best performances of the season this past year in the win in Charlottesville against Virginia. Of course, Cavaliers won in Chapel Hill 2 years ago with a not very good team.
30-17. Fall break's not out yet. Fall calendar not out. But that's in the time frame when it could be.
Then, Adam, on Halloween night,
Wow.
Friday, October 31st, Tar Heels at Syracuse. Hadn't been there very often. Went there in the final year of Larry Fedora's tenure in Chapel Hill. That's the only time they have met in Syracuse as members of the ACC. So it hadn't been a place Carolina's gone very often. Syracuse is coming off a very good season. They will, I'm guessing, be watch out for Syracuse team at the beginning of the year. Kyle McCord, their very accomplished quarterback, the transfer from Ohio State, is gone. But they were very good. They finished ranked this year. I think there's at least a decent argument that they were, along with SMU and Clemson, had the best seasons of anybody in the league this past season. I think they're behind SMU and Clemson, but I think they're probably next.
24-23. 2-point conversion fails at the end.
For someone. Then November. Carolina plays 5 times in November. Well, October 31st. So, but then they play 4 more times in November. busy stretch. November 8th, Stanford. Carolina has already petitioned for that to be an 11 a.m. kickoff time. So Stanford's got to come all the way to Carolina for a Saturday, November 8th game.
38-10.
And then, Adam, what a trio to end it. There have been some coaches here in the recent past who did not like closing with a lot of North Carolina teams at the end of the year. Well, final 3 games for Carolina. At Wake Forest, Saturday, November 15th. Duke at home, Saturday, November 22nd. At NC State, Saturday, November 29th. So at Wake, Duke, at State, Carolina just making the Big Four challenge there in the last 3 games of the regular season.
That's going to be an interesting stretch. You know what else? One thing I just thought of, I think the Kansas basketball game here is the day before that Stanford game. That's when it should be if it's in the same slot as this year.
So that would be Friday, if Adam's information is correct. That would be Friday, November 7th. What a weekend in Chapel Hill.
That would be quite a weekend. So I would say I'd say I'm going to go 27-17.
Adam likes 27.
Yeah, it's not a round number. It's not like 28. That's boring.
Yeah.
But it's not too many points. It's not too few points. Then we're going to go shootout here, 42-20.
Ooh.
And then 837 to -20.
So just let's give you all of them again one more time quickly, and then we'll get some more thoughts on it. TCU at home, Monday, September 1st. That's Labor Day, big game. At Charlotte in the 15,000-seat stadium. Saturday, the 13th of September. I've messed it all up. TCU, Monday, September 1st. At Charlotte, Saturday, September 6th. Richmond at home, Saturday, September 13th. At UCF, Saturday, September 20th. Open. Clemson at home, Saturday, October 4th. Open. Potentially a week and a half long trip to California for a game against the Golden Bears at Cal, which somehow the Tar Heels were just there 7 years ago and they're back again. Don't know the day. Why would we? It's either Thursday, October 16th or Friday, October 17th. Then Virginia at home, Saturday, October 25th. At Syracuse, Friday, October 31st, Halloween. Then Stanford at home, Saturday, November 8th, potentially the day after playing Kansas in basketball in the Smith Center.
False. That game's on November 14th.
The Kansas game.
Yes.
So check it.
Yeah.
Carolina then goes to Wake Forest in football the next day.
So you can come and do both.
Yeah,
There'll be tickets available in Winston-Salem. Swing by Dewey's. Look, you got Kansas, you got Dewey's, you got the Deeks, all in 24 hours.
What a weekend.
Whew. I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Saturday, November 15th at Wake. Saturday, November 22nd, Victory Bell on the line. Duke has it for the first time in a long time. Tar Heels won it back. That's November 22nd. At State, Saturday, November 29th. Well, Adam, thoughts? Outside of your already predictions for all the scores.
Yeah, we know what's going to happen in each of these. This seems like a manageable ACC schedule, I think. You've got Clemson, who we expect will be good. And in all the way too early polls, they're getting some top 5-ish buzz. So I'm sure they'll be very good. But you get them at home, and you get them early, which I feel like that's the time to get Clemson. I have no facts to back this up.
Yeah.
But you get them at home, most importantly. Then I could talk myself into winning all the rest of these, which I've already done. The 2 bye weeks out of 3 is odd. I'll be interested to see how that either pays dividends or doesn't. I mean, if you have injuries, you got a really great chance to get healthy in there.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Carolina is likely to be favored at Charlotte and against Richmond. TCU toss-up, right? I mean, there's going to be total electricity in Chapel Hill, but you still got to play the game. TCU's a accomplished program. They're not going to be taken aback in any way by the atmosphere. I'm sure they will be ready for it as well. Sonny Dykes, good coach, playing the national championship game a couple years ago. Good program. Toss-up. At UCF, toss-up. Like anything could happen in that game. That's a hard road trip. And it's one of those that I think casual fans look at it, they think you're going to win, but it's not that easy. UCF very good at home in particular.
It'll be hot, and everybody will be talking about Clemson.
Clemson, as Adam said, they're going to be very good. That's going to be a big game. I think if you're the Tar Heels, the hope is that you're 4-0 or 3-1 at that point at worst, and you've got a lot of momentum still heading into that game. Then after that, man, I mean, to me, it's two very distinct schedules after that. The Cal, Virginia, Syracuse, Stanford portion, and then the Tobacco Road caravan down the stretch there of at Wake, Duke, and at NC State. And you just don't know. I mean, some of this is you have no idea. Like, you only play about a third of the conference because it's so big at this point. I mean, you're not playing SMU, who was very good this past season. You're not playing Miami. You're not playing Florida State, who knows? I mean, FSU, I'm going to guess they're talented, if nothing else. You're not playing Georgia Tech, a team that's given you a ton of trouble and seems to be moving in the right direction. You're not playing Virginia Tech, a team that was okay this year, but is a team that has been a challenge in the past.
You're not playing Louisville because Carolina never
plays Louisville. So I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. This schedule is not as favorable as the one that Carolina played this past season.
Right.
And by that, I mean it's not as easy. Teams change so much that you never really know. But at Syracuse, I think will be a challenge. Friday night, Halloween. At Cal, it's the distance, of course, is the wild card there. Remember, their good quarterback went to Indiana, but they had an okay year this past year. But, man, I mean, Adam, it to me, again, you've got those games at the beginning. The TCU and the Clemson games at home are going to be white hot. And then you've got that Tobacco Road close, which is going to be of high local interest at Wake, Duke, at NC State.
I don't foresee Bill Belichick having a lot of patience for any complaining about the travel to Cal.
No. Well, but I mean, I think that is another advantage of having a professional coach and staff. Now, of course, it's the players who have to go out there and play, but Bill Belichick's made plenty of trips to the West Coast. So, I mean, he'll know what's worked for them in the past, and will adjust it if needed for the college level and be ready to go do it. But I agree with you. I think that's a huge deal in college because it's unusual, although it's becoming more usual, as we know. But it's not unusual in the pros. It's just part of what happens.
You know, of course, that the athletic department is disappointed to only have 6 home games. You would have loved to find a way to swap one of those.
Well, it's
probably Charlotte.
It's the Charlotte game,
yeah.
Right? I mean, it's the Charlotte game that kills you. Even if you had, I mean, in this discussion, even if you had a comparable team at home, I think with the momentum that you have just from the coaching hire, if you are able to win that first game and then could follow it up with another home game, but not in the cards. So, I mean, the interest level, Adam, is high. as high as we've talked about this. I think it's as high as I can remember it in an off season at this point, perhaps other than leading into the ill-fated 2010 season, right?
Yes.
So, looking forward to it. Adam's already giving you the score, so you're good to go.
Yep.
That one against State, the 800 to negative score, that's unusual.
Unusual, but perhaps not impossible. I'm really looking forward to that one.